Hey everybody, welcome back to TT Plays. I'm really excited to talk to you today about more Levia. I know we promised more Icelander content and it's coming, but everyone's excited about Dusk Till Dawn right now. So let's kind of ride that train here. Franklin's excited about Levia, so we're going to talk about Levia. Now, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this episode, which are non-Dusk Till Dawn cards, I think you should add to your collection in this week leading up to the release here. I do want a little bit of a disclaimer about where I think Levia is going to fall in the meta, and that is in the middle, which I think is a really fine place to be. If we're taking someone from the bottom to the middle, you know, we're on the come up. We're doing pretty well here. So why do I think that? Well, I think that she has issues into two of the top decks in the meta. Those decks being Lexi, Viscerai, and Ninjas. And why do we have issues into them is because we don't really present a lot of disruption. We don't really present almost any disruption. We're presenting large number attacks. We're presenting really efficient large number attacks, but we're not disrupting them. And those classes are just more efficient at presenting really nasty on hits and a ton of damage, right? A simple Lexi turn is just like pitch 3 arrows, right? If each arrow comes in for 4, the last one comes in for 5, right? I mean, that's 12 or 13 damage pretty easily out of the Lexi, right? We have to work a lot harder to present an equal amount of damage. We want more of that middling game of like, can I block 2, present 6 to 8, right? We're really efficient in that regard. But again, there's a ton of on hits going along right now, right? Katsu has a ton of on hits there. Viscerai has a ton. We'll see what the new Runeblade looks like. So that's why I'm a little, I guess, pessimistic about these people that say Levi's going to be at the top. I think she's going to be good. I think she's going to be a ton of fun to play. I'm playing the game to have a lot of fun, so I'm excited to play her. Franklin's excited to play her, so this is why we're going to talk about non-Dusk Till Dawn Levia cards I think you should pick up. So let us know down in the comments if you think I'm wrong. Let us know if you think Levia has a good matchup into any of those. But again, like, traditionally, those are the decks Levia has struggled into, and even with these new cards we've got, yet we are less likely to kill ourselves now, but I don't see any of those cards really taxing those decks that are kind of at the top of the meta right now. So let's just dive right into it. Some of these are generics, and it's kind of boring, right? Tunic and Command and Conquer are pretty boring here. There's a lot of reasons that Levia decks are considering Tunic now, right? We have Ebb and Fold, which we'll get into in a minute. We have Art of War, which we'll get into. We have obviously Command and Conquer and Pummel. But just getting that one resource is so efficient. If you don't own a Tunic, I'm not recommending you go out and spend $200 on it. I think Levia is a great way to play that without a Tunic. You can run with a cheaper chest piece there. Carrion Husk is still cheaper than Tunic, and you can even go cheaper than that if you want to go strapping or something. But I think a Tunic is worth consideration because now, more than anything else, there are so many different ways to play Levia that your options have really opened up here. Command and Conquer is here because we kind of talked about that. If Lexi's the top of the meta, we need a way to disrupt the arsenal, and Command and Conquer is a great way to do it. Command and Conquer says, give me 2 cards or give me your arsenal, or maybe give me both your arsenals, and that's a phenomenal place to be. If we threaten a Pummel deck, it actually becomes a lot harder for them to block it. So again, Command and Conquer is a phenomenal card here. Do I think you should go out and spend $180 on this and then $200 on a Tunic? I don't know. That's up to you. It's not my place to judge your wallet. But if you don't have Command and Conquerors, or if maybe have 1 or 2, maybe grab 1 or 2 more, I think Levia, a lot of Levia decks are going to be running this. All right, more price affordable cards here. Pummel. Pummel's a great card. Pummel's going to cost you a couple bucks. Why are we looking at Pummel? Because I think we need to present disruption to them. I think there are multiple reasons to run Spring Tunic, which is where we want to be, right? We want to be efficient with that Tunic. We don't want that Tunic resource sitting there for too long. So if we're pummeling, if we're threatening Ebb and Fold, and if we're threatening Art of War, I think we can really efficient with that Tunic resource. Again, Pummel comes over the top. We present a lot of 4 attacks. We're going to present some club weapons too, so we can just buff that for the +4. So again, Pummel, pick up a playset of Pummels. I think it'll be a great addition to you. Art of Wars have come down in price a lot from the 5 days, which are phenomenal. You can pick them up for, I don't know, 20, 25 bucks now. And there's a couple different ways we can do it. So traditionally, we were taking it for the banish an attack action card and draw 2 cards. We banish a card with 6 or more on it. That's great. It shuts off Blood Debt. It allows us to kind of move forward. It allows us to play cards out of there because a lot of the new cards say, if you banish the card from hand, we can use it. Like Centipede's a phenomenal example. We draw 2 cards and we can keep going. The next attack action you play this turn gains Go Again, which is phenomenal, right? We don't have a ton of ways to get Go Again. So it's a good way for us to be efficient there, get Go Again, go a little bit wider, present that 12 damage per turn. There's also some great defensive ways we can do it and utilize the Tunic on that side. if we really need to block out, let's pretend it's a Rainrazor's 3 of a kind turn, right? We can choose Defend from Arsenal, +1/+1, or we could Banish to draw new cards, and one of those, right? So there's a lot of different ways we can play this defensively. If we're able to Tunic, play the Art of War, and we pick Block from Arsenal and +1/+1, that gives us 3 cards in hand, 1 card from Arsenal we can block. If they're all 3 blocks, pumped up to 4 blocks, that's 16 block this turn we can throw out there, which is pretty big. We could also, again, choose the Banish route, draw 2 additional cards, +1 from hand. Again, if we're able to play this down from Arsenal, we can then have a 6-wide hand that we can block with, each one of those getting a +1 block. The other thing I want to talk about here with that Banish aspect is Diabolic Offering. If a card with 6 or more has been put into your Banish zone this turn, Diabolic Offering's power and block are 6. Otherwise, there's 0. That 6 block is what was so appealing to me. So if we can Tunic, Art of War, draw it up, block with a Diabolic Offering, that's just a free 6 block. Not a free, obviously there's other tax going into it, but a 1-card 6 block, it is really efficient. If we're able to have 2 of these in our hand, that's insane, right? 2 cards block 12, that's really, really good rate at that point. So again, I'm willing to make some concessions there. If we can use the Tunic for Pummel, if we can use the Tunic for Art of War, and we have Art of War as a way to turn Diabolic Offering on, that's great. I don't just want to rely on Tunic, though, and that's one of the reasons I'm considering Ebb and Fold. So everyone is excited about the new skin bag headpiece. It's a when you do something, though, so what it does is it creates an Intimidate trigger. Lexi can respond to that trigger with an instant Voltaire and load whatever they had in their hand. So less excited about that into Lexi, which is why I might consider Ebb and Fold. This is a card from Monarch. It's a common. You've honestly probably drafted it. You can just surf through the chafe and pick one of these things up, but it's 1, right? We can use the Tunic, destroy Ebb and Fold, banish a card from your hand. If it's a shadow card, draw a card. So if we banish a 6+, we get to draw a card, so it replaces itself. We played it off a Tunic, so we're net neutral, right, as far as cards in hand, and it wakes up Diabolic Offering if we can banish a card with 6 or more. In addition, we talked about this, you can use it during your turn to turn on Centipede or something, or to turn off Blood Debt. So Ebb and Fold is another great safety net card, and its ceiling is it allows this, right, 1 card block for 6, right? Mansant called it a Carrion Husk. I'm not going to go that far, but it's really close to a Carrion Husk in your hand. Again, that 1 block for 6 with the help of some other cards like an Art of War and Ebb and Fold. So again, Tunic for Pummel, Tunic for Art of War, Tunic for Ebb and Fold. We're getting enough value out of there. I can foresee us using that Tunic resource efficiently. That might be enough for me to leave my Carrion Husk in my sideboard, depending on the kind of Levia deck we're building. I like that for kind of like a control, block 2 cards, present 1 big card with a relevant on-hit kind of method there. So if we're going to play Levia Redeemed here, I really like Sigils of Solace. This is another common card you can pick up for a couple cents at your local game store, right? Blasey says if Blood Debt takes us to 13, so we need to make sure we can stay above 13. Our opponent might sneak in a Pummel or something, get us under 13. If we're really counting on that, then we're kind of horked. So I've liked 1 or 2 Sigils in the deck to make sure I can get back over that life threshold so I can still transform when I want to in order to kind of close out the game. So again, Sigil, really cheap card I think you should pick up there. Shadow Puppetry is an old Monarch card. Again, you might draft this because draft is horrible, and I don't know why we're drafting Monarch. This is more relevant for the go wide fast decks. If you've just decided you want to race Lexi, race Phi, race Visceri here, right? This allows you to get +1 and go again, super relevant, and then you can look at the top card in your deck and banish it. And again, we get a lot of synergy off banishing stuff, obviously. You could even use this in a recursion package to try to find your recursion pieces, get them to banish quickly, right? Skip the whole put it in the graveyard, having to banish it yourself, right? We can just do that with Shadow Puppetry. These cards have spiked a little bit. I think they're like $8 or $9 a piece still. I would pick up 3 of these if you don't already have them. A lot of Levia decks haven't been running them, but this is one of those cards I'm pretty optimistic about. I think a lot of aggressive Levia decks should be, and probably will be, running Shadow Puppetry. 2 more cards here to go through, and one of them is Guardian of the Shadow Realm, another Monarch card. This is a 2 for 6. All right, 2 for 6, right? It's 2 cards for 6, right? We're pitching a card, and then we're blocking for 6 for Shadow Reaction. What we do like about it is you can return Guardian of the Shadow Realm to your hand, activate its ability only when Guardian of the Shadow Realm is in your banish zone. So if we're playing a slower recursion package, if we're trying to like be a pseudo Oldhim here. I can see a lot of value out of the Guardian of the Shadow Realm. I run 2 of these in my recursion deck, which I have a video for coming later in this week to kind of show the recursion package and flux there. But I really like Guardian of the Shadow Realm. Again, a pretty cheap card to pick up. It looks really cool. Sorry, I hit the microphone there. I like it. It's not super efficient. Again, 2 for 6 and then 4 for 6 when we do it. But again, it's a blue plus a tunic in order to pull it back and then use it the next round. So again, oh no, you can't even do it that way because it's an action order rather thing. But I haven't hated Guardian of the Shadow Realm for the kind of that slower game where we really kind of want to grind people out. So I would pick up some Guardians there. All right, the last card I'm going to mention is Hexagore. You probably have a Hexagore in your bulk bin, but I'm not sure because it's a Majestic. I think some decks might actually be running Hexagore now. Hexagore is just 2 attack for 6. Whenever you attack with Hexagore, it deals damage to you equal to 6 minus the number of cards with Blood Debt in your banish zone. So, important to remember that Levia Redeemed makes this just hit you for 6 every turn. Not the best combination there. Blasi banishes all, or turns all that stuff face down. Not the best there. But if we're racing Blood Debt in order to flip Levia Redeemed, Hexagore is on for the first 2/3 or half of the game, and that might be enough to get us there. So I would go ahead and pick up a Hexagore as well. So we got some expensive cards in here, right? Findles, Command and Conquer, and even Art of War in there. We've got some bargain cards in here coming in kind of like $8, and then we got a bunch of like bulk cards coming in here. This is just, in my opinion, cards you should pick up that you probably don't already have, even if you were playing Levia already, that I think you will want to have when you hit this weekend, crack that case open, and get you to play Levia as soon as possible in your local armory. So I hope you found this beneficial. I hope you're able to grab some of these cards. Let me know the cards you're most excited about from Dusk Till Dawn, or the cards I forgot to mention that she needs from pre-Dusk Till Dawn in the comments below. And until next time, everyone, cheers and happy gaming.